Hey gamers, it's Kristin and I have some favorites for you. We're gonna call them current favorites. I don't know, I really was gonna try to get into doing this monthly and it just didn't happen. I don't know what to tell you. I just, I'm gonna do what I can. I do have one fail that I wanted to mention and I did just return that. So I'm gonna put just a picture up here of the bottle so you know what it is. I decided just not even to do a review on it, that I would just talk about it here. And that is the YSL Touche Éclat foundation. So I loved the coverage, I loved the finish, I thought it looked beautiful for about 4 hours, and then it just disappeared off my face. And I am dry, I am not oily, so I don't know, I think you would like that foundation if you were going, just maybe out for an evening that wasn't gonna be longer than 4 hours. But for me, the longevity just wasn't there, and I just could not, as much as I loved the finish and how beautiful it looked and that sort of thing, I just couldn't justify that cost, knowing it's only gonna last me for 4 hours and I would hardly ever wear it, so I certainly wouldn't go through it in the time before it would go bad. So I did return that, and that is kind of my fail for the summer. I'm sure that I have other fails, that have kind of happened. I guess these are gonna be kind of some summer favorites. Anyway, maybe that's what I'll call it. Summer favorites, I don't know. So anyway, that is my big fail for the summer. I was really bummed because I just loved how it looked, but I couldn't get on board. Okay, I may have mentioned a couple of these in the favorites a few months back, but if I did and I'm repeating them, then they bear repeating in my opinion. So this is the sunscreen that I have just loved. I just recently repurchased it on, I think it's Amazon is where I ordered it from. It's not. Hello. You guys know, if you've been with me a little bit, it's like the ghost in the windows. It's just the wind blowing, but I'm gonna take those open windows as long as I possibly can. Okay, somebody did tell me I could clamp it down, but I forgot. And so we're just gonna have billowy shades. So, squirrel. So this is the Eau Thermale Avène sunscreen. It's in 50. And the key for this is for those of us that are dry skin, ultralight hydrating sunscreen lotion is what it's called. So it's a matte finish, fast absorbing, all of those things are true, and it's hydrating. So for me, this is a winner. In the past, I've also liked Neutrogena Ultra Sheer, I think is the other one. That's the one I use frequently before this one, but I like this one, and that's the one I will continue to use. Okay. Next is a couple of foundations. One, I recently have fallen back in love with this, but I wanted to mention it again in case it's stuck in your drawer somewhere from hearing me talk about it before, from hearing somebody else talk about it before, and that's the Missha Perfect Cover BB Cream. I wear this in the shade 21, though right now it's a little bit light for me. But I am actually wearing it today, and I make it work with something I'm going to show you here in a second. But this is really kind of throwing it back to old school. I have been through 2 of these, I believe. I think this is my 3rd. And I just love this. It's great coverage, good longevity when you pair it with something that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. It kind of has a gray cast. I could never wear this just by itself. I will say that, because it kind of has that sort of gray cast that some BBs do. But I love how it perfects my skin. I love there's a SPF 42 in here, so if I should forget my sunscreen, which happens on occasion, that I'm covered with this as well. So I just love this. It's a very thick consistency. I'll kind of show you guys what it looks like here. That's a little swatch of it, and let me blend it out so you can see. It's just a little bit grayish. I don't exactly know how to explain it. And there is kind of a floral scent to it. So if you don't like that, I don't notice it after I apply it, but a lot of people are very scent sensitive. So if you are scent sensitive, I don't know, say that 3 times fast. I don't know that you would appreciate that so much. Okay, I'm gonna come back to talk about the other actual foundation, and I'm gonna go right to this just because I was alluding to it. So this is also a throwback to a love that I've had for a very long time. This is a new one. I got this because I had heard it was being discontinued, but now I don't think it is. I'm not sure. I'll link it below if I can find it. I'm almost positive it still is in existence, and I was told incorrectly. But anyway, this is the who knows? The Laura Mercier mineral powder, and the color I am is in Real Sand. I can remember that I used to use Natural Beige, which was way too dark for me. So when I was using this with a different powder foundation, because I really like to set this really any foundation, with a powder foundation to add a little bit more coverage. And for this one, I'm kind of, you know, trying to correct color as well because that one leans a little gray. So Real Sand is my shade in this. Natural Beige, a little dark. If you're from back in the day, I really used to have my face too dark for the rest of my skin. I've learned. We can all learn, right? So anyway, love the Laura Mercier Loose Minerals. That is what I have over the top of the Misha today. There is just something about that. I mean, when I first put it on again, I was like, oh, this is why I love this so much. It just has a pretty glow, as you can kind of see. I buff it in with, you guys have all heard this before, and I learned this from Lisa D1 way back in the day. This is the original Sephora 55 brush before they changed the handle and everything, but I just buff the heck out of that into my skin, and I just love the finish. I love the glow. I love the longevity. There's nothing that I don't like about this. Even the packaging is really, really nice. It comes with a little sifter that you can turn. I feel like the first one of these I had didn't have that, so I love that. I love that foundation. It's amazing. Okay, so the other one, and this is the one I think I maybe have talked about before, but it bears repeating. I could do a full review on this if you guys want that. I will do a full review on this where I show you my face and, you know, the putting it on and all that if with my whole point system, but let me know if you want that. This is the Dior Forever Undercover 24 Hour. I have the shade 14, which right now is a good fit. It's a good match for me. I probably should switch. This is the one I have chosen to work through currently, but I feel like I should maybe switch and do this because it's going to be too dark for me pretty soon. That's the one frustrating thing about, well, I would talk about that in the review, but the frustrating thing about Dior foundations is that there's a lot of space. Like the other one is too light, this one is too dark. This had the same problem with the Dior Star. I loved that foundation, but I had to buy 10 and 20, mix them together. I thought that this would cover me, but it works now. I just don't think it's going to work in the winter. We'll see. I could get some drops though, those white drops that you can lighten things up with, but anyway. Okay, longevity, coverage, finish. I really like all of that. All right, so this is, I have not even hauled this. You guys will probably see this before I film my haul because I just haven't had a chance to sit down. The haul that I have to film is going to be epic. I feel like it's going to be a very long haul. And I just haven't taken the time to do it yet. Okay, anyway. I found this at Walmart. It's by the brand Found. So I'm sure that there are reviews out there. I think somebody told me Emily had done a review. I haven't seen it yet, but because I got a little behind on the YouTube videos. This is the bronzer in Golden Bronze. This is lovely. This reminds me so much of the BareMinerals Invisible Bronze for like $8. It is so lovely. If you are much darker skin, I can't remember if there was a darker shade or not. Here. I already put it on my hand, so there it is in my hand. If you are, let me build it up just a little bit. If you are kind of my skin tone, this will work delightfully on you. I love that. And like I said, I really appreciate the BareMinerals Invisible Bronze. I think it was light medium or fair light. Fair light, I think is the one that I used up. I really like that one. This does the same sort of thing for much less. Just saying. Okay, let's talk about a mascara. I've talked about this a few times or alluded to it, I think, in my 4 Looks 1 palette with Emily's palette. By the way, these were things that I would have Emily's palette in here, but I have not had it long enough. It is a favorite, but this is kind of summer favorites, so just wait for my next favorites. But anyway, this is the Wander Unlashed Mascara. I am stunned by how much I like this. I really like this. Let me show you the brush. Looks like that. It came in a boxy charm. Otherwise, I don't know that I ever would have tried this. So good. If you haven't seen it and want to go watch my 4 Looks 1 palette with Emily's The Wants palette with Revolution Beauty, all those close-ups, I'm wearing this mascara. And it's just so good. I really, really, really like it. I actually really enjoyed the squeeze tube, because you can kind of feel like how much you have in there, and I don't know, I really like it. It does not flake on me, it does not transfer on me, at least so far, and I've been using it almost 2 months now, I think. So I have kind of a natural curl to my lash, but it doesn't weigh that down. It lifts them, it lifts and separates. It's really, really good. Okay, let's talk about a few eyeshadow things. So during the summer, there are periods of time where all I want to do is one shadow. We all have that, right? So I've one that I want to talk about. It's an oldie but a goodie. I don't think you can get this anymore, but you know, for those of you that have this, or maybe got it from when we all loved it back, I want to say this is 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe something like that. This is the BareMinerals single shade. So it's one of these little things in Snazzy. I will look. I don't know that this is available anymore, but you know, the favorites aren't always about what you can get right now. It's about shopping your stash too. I mean, I can't. This is so pretty. It just makes me smile. It is such a pretty eyeshadow shade, and it is perfect for a one shadow look. You can pack it on your eye with one brush and use it with a crease brush in your crease, and you're done. A little bit beneath your lower lash line, some liner, call it a day. So pretty. I just love that. And then another shade that I did that a lot with is in the Soft Glam palette. I really enjoy this. I stopped using this early summer just because I went on to something else, not because it wasn't good. But I remember in my 4 Looks 1 palette, and I'll list that below. Any video that I mentioned, I'll list below. I realized when I was swatching the shades, and I think I even said it in the video, that, oh, Rustic is such a pretty shade. I never used that one. Well, I started using it, and that's this shade right here. I started using it just on its own when we went to Cape Cod in April, and have done that so many times since then. It is a matte shade, but it's so pretty. So that is how it looks packed on. And I'm just gonna blend it out a little bit so you can see there. And that's sort of blended out. It's beautiful, and it's just, again, it's one of those really nice, quick and easy, as I have a friend that would say, quick and dirty, sort of, and then it's stuck to my hand now, so I have to get a wipe. One shadow looks, it's absolutely stunning. I don't know, I really like that. And you know, for that matter, you could use Sienna next to it as a one shadow look too, but I just really have enjoyed Rustic. Just like I said, I started doing it when we were on vacation because I didn't want to mess with a lot of really in-depth eyeshadow looks, and so very much enjoyed that. Okay, I have another palette that I've loved, and one that I'm going to mention because I just don't know how I feel about it. And I thought, you know what, let's just talk about it. So first, the one that I loved, sorry, I had a little coughing fit there. So first, the one that I loved was the Urban Decay Born to Run. I just really have enjoyed playing with this. I did so sometimes, to me, if I really like a palette, it's one that I'll go back to right away after I finished filming a 4 Looks 1 palette. And I did that, you know, I did a 4 Looks 1 this. I did a 4 Looks on this. Let's just have a moment. Calm down, Kristin. I'm just excited. I haven't filmed favorites in so long. And I've gone back to it time and time and time again. I just love, I love the warm shades. I like some of the different sort of cool shades, like Drift is a really pretty shade. I have actually really enjoyed using both of these. I should have used this one today. Wanderlust. I actually used one from Emily's video beneath my lower lash line today, or from Emily's palette. I just really have enjoyed this. And I don't know, I heard a lot of people talk about it right off the bat, and then I never really heard many people talk about it since. So I just think, and there are some great, tell me there's not some amazing fall looks in there. So if you bought this and then went on to the next thing, break this back out. Just saying. Okay, here's the thing I just don't know about. Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust. I like the shadows. They're good shadows. This worked well when I took it to travel. But I can't figure out whether I like it or I'm bored with it. So I say this I bring this up to say to you, what do you guys think about this palette? Those of you that have it. Do you love it? Do you use it a lot? Do you not use it a lot? These are my questions. I love this shade in Magic. It's probably one of my favorite shades in the palette. And let me just get you a good old swatch there. That first one was not very good. It's very pretty. They wear well, but I like it and it's boring all at the same time, which is probably why I like it for travel, because when I'm traveling, it's usually for work and I'm not trying to do some sort of crazy eye look when I'm traveling for work. You know what I mean? So I'm curious. That's something that I purchased this summer that I'm curious what you guys think about. It's funny because I picked this over, I think her name is Dominique Sanchez, something like that. She had a palette, not that pastel-y ice cream cone looking one, the other one. And I wish, I know. I wish that I would have gotten the other one. You know what I mean? This was, I chose poorly, I think. Anyway, not lastly. Lip product and then a skincare thing. And then, random thing as well. So, again, I can't remember if I mentioned these, but I've worn these all summer long. These are the Becca Glow Glosses. These are just so good. I'm sure you'll hear me talk about these at the end of the year. They're just so good. The shades that I wore, so, okay, let me back up. They have a nice thickness to them, but they don't create, you know, the little lines between your upper lip and your lower lip. They stick to your lip, and there's some stickiness. I mean, your hair's gonna get stuck in it if the wind blows it. There is that. That's just, I don't know. I just think that's the way it is with lip gloss. But I love particularly these two. So Tiger Lily and Snapdragon. So a pink one and then this kind of corally peachy one. I've loved them. A lot of times when I've traveled for work, I just grab these two and throw them in because they will work with just about any look. And there's enough pigmentation to these that you can see. I didn't know I was going to have time to film this today, which is why I'm not wearing too many of these aside from the foundation on my face. I usually try to have my face full of favorites. So those are the two shades. Tiger Lily and Snapdragon. And did I say that right? Yeah. And the other shades are also lovely, but so many of those I wear as a topper versus just by themselves. I just love that these ones have enough pigment to themselves that you can wear just them. You don't need a lipstick or anything else. And I find for summer, I think that's kind of nice and easy breezy. There are a couple of, oops, I'm throwing things around. There's a couple of deeper shades in there, or maybe there's just the one that I had kind of set aside to fall. But so I really, really, really enjoyed those. All right, skincare thing. This is something I've mentioned last year probably, but I pulled out one that I had and I've been using it and I just love this. I would have to use it again in the winter to remember if I like this in the winter or not, but if you've not tried this, you have to try it. I've told the story before of how anytime I meet up with a friend, a YouTuber, subscribers, whoever you are, and we're in a Sephora or Ulta, or maybe it's just Sephora, because I think Ulta doesn't carry Dr. Jart. I make them go and try this on their hand. Because it's so good. It's the Dr. Jart Water Drop Hydrating Moisturizer. It's really good. You hardly have to use any, which is crazy. And it works for my dry skin. So this is what it looks like when you squeeze it out. But then, see, it turns into like water. It's crazy. It's so moisturizing. And I just really enjoy it. And I had fallen back in love with it all over again. And I was like, well, I'm going to talk about it in my favorites video. All right. Lastly is a food sort of thing. And not sort of, it is an actual food thing. These are the Kind breakfast protein bars. There's 2 of these bars in the pack. And these are the almond butter ones. They are my favorites. There's some other flavors as well. I think there's 3 flavors total. There were 4, but they, for some reason, did away with the cinnamon one, which doesn't make me happy because you know how I love my cinnamon. But anyway, this is the almond butter, and it is my favorite of the flavors that are out. So I think there's 4 in here. What I like about this 8 is it tastes really, really good. I very much like it. There's 8 grams of protein in here, and it's very easy, nice and little that I can, throw in my bag, especially if I'm traveling. I can throw so I have breakfast for, I don't have to worry about getting breakfast at the hotel or whatever. I really like those. I'll put this here in case anybody's interested in all of that sort of information. You can screenshot or pause or whatever your little heart desires. But I love those. Those have worked really well for me for breakfasts throughout the summer and travel and camping and that sort of thing. So those are my favorites and my one fail and my So let me know if you guys had any real big standout favorites for the summer. I really am going to try to do this a little bit more often. I kind of took a break from YouTube during August because I just had lots going on. So I'm back into it and just really enjoying playing with products. Like I said, I have a bunch of stuff to haul. So that's what I have for you. I feel like I talked really fast. My apologies. I just was really excited. I had some good stuff to talk about. Like this found is a find. Know what I'm saying? All right. Leave me below what you guys have been loving. I would like to hear it. And I thought there's something else. Oh, and let me know what you think about this. I'm very curious. Very, very curious. And this was the other thing. Do you want a review, an actual full, my normal foundation review? All right, I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. And everything that you do and say, be beautiful. Bye.